and I'm live. Hey, how's it
So
going?
what are you guys trying to do?
So this is kind of an art project slash science project. The way it works is that we're using a blender, which is right down here. Let me get this up before. We're using a surfactant like Dawn soap. We're taking graphite, putting it in a blender, and we're letting it blend. What it does is actually the surfactant soap sticks to the graphite and acts like a parachute, and it pulls the graphite apart into very thin sheets of graphite. Very thin sheets of graphite is actually graphene. So I'm making different kind of forms of carbon. Then I have another process that involves taking a beaker full of mineral oil, which is in there, and I take high voltage, which is what you can hear the buzzing in this. And what it does is it arcs, it creates an arc, and then as it arcs, it actually makes a conductive carbon chain as it spins around. It's kind of like pulling string. And then I take those two together, and mix them together, and I get these really interesting macro structures. You can see the soap bubbles interact with the oil, making these bubbles. And then you can actually see the underlying layers. That's the carbon chains interacting with some of the other carbon particles. And they make these really interesting long, thin sheets. And eventually, all the particles settle out, and you get these interesting tumbleweeds in the bottom half. And it just kind of creates an even more dynamic structure underneath the top of it. That's pretty much it.
And so what art do you make like that? This is
So the mineral oil, which is that guy right there. I need the soap, the mineral oil, the carbon, and the graphite. Blender plus high voltage, mix them all together, and I get this after about a week. So. Oh, great. And we have stickers too. If you want a sticker. Oh, this is cool. Man. Okay. I guess you gotta say, like, wearable cameras, they're the future, man. I've got this on, basically it's a GoPro-like thing. It's actually a lot cheaper than GoPro. It's actually a Yi. But like this, plus a USB battery pack, plus a iPhone app, this is awesome. I'm gonna go video this thing. So tell me about, before I do that, how's your project going? How's this going?
It's going pretty well. Almost near completed.
Very nice.
So this is my rocking chair. As you rock back and forth in it, there's a pendulum underneath that also moves back and forth.
Very cool.
The motion goes through these gears and into a generator, which generates electricity.
Awesome.
So you can charge your phone for free.
Free.
Yeah.
At the very least, you get to like relax in a really awesome chair, and that's actually, I really like the idea. So are you thinking about commercializing it? Or are you working with like another manufacturer, or are you just gonna, is it more kind of like a concept, proof of concept project?
Right now, it's kind of a concept. I know online there are some other energy harvesting chairs, but none of those people have actually made a physical chair. They just
cool.
thought of ideas.
Oh, so this is like I actually did it.
Yes.
Very cool.
Something I can put in my portfolio.
Yeah. I actually did this thing. Very cool. And you got publicity and press from it, so it's always a good thing. If you ever have like a maker fair and they write about it, it's golden. For years later, you can be like, and by the way, just go to this website, and it's like, this is my project on the Make Mag. And it's like, yeah, you got articles on it, you're golden. So what else do you have going on?
So the rest of the booth is other UC Berkeley projects.
Yep.
We have a skirt that protects your personal bubble.
Oh, cool. Does it actually? I think isn't this the one that flings up when you actually get too close?
If someone gets too close, yeah, the leaves of the skirt flings up. Yeah.
So really, there's actually some crossover. If you took like a high voltage stun thing, it could like not only could it be protective, but it could also be artistic and socially protective. So you can like have this these spines come up and go step back.
Yep.
Very cool. Also very pretty.
And then we also have a wearable pet for
Yeah? Is it really just for kids? Because none of those people actually look like kids.
Well,
Because I know I want one.
there aren't that many kids on this campus, so they have to.
I think it's a giant campus full of big kids.
Okay, yeah.
So what does it actually do? Oh, responds to loud crying by curling up and making sad noises.
Yeah, so it's supposed to market kids with temper tantrums and
Okay.
parents that want to control their.
Oh, I see. So you get feedback saying that when it cries, you're like, I'm being too loud.
Exactly.
Let me try to calm down so I can calm the pet down. Cool. Has there been a study associated with this?
There hasn't been any clinical studies or anything, but he has given it to a couple of kids and they have processed.
That sounds amazing. I like it. Not only is it functional and cute, but actually, it feels like it's like a chumby for like little kids. So I've seen somebody walking around with Electrotech tubes. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so she was actually researching tattoos that you can wear and
Yeah.
that have electrical components in it.
Yeah.
So basically it's just a removable tattoo
With conductive silver eyes. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I only have one here though.
So do you currently have to make these all by hand?
Say what?
Do you have to make these currently all by hand?
Yeah, we did this by hand. We can probably do it with a desktop conductive ink printer as well. We just don't have one.
Okay.
So yeah, but we printed the pattern on the desktop printer, and then we
I see.
printed the conductive ink by hand. She was just drawing the conductive path with a pen as well, so that works too. We're mounting the components with C-tape.
Yeah.
And it just does not hold out properly in the humidity or the heat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We never knew that. We're from the West Coast.
It's okay. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm from the Midwest, where it's like this is like the weather all the time. It's like we got monsoon seasons.
So yeah, I swear to God, like engineers from different parts of the country need to talk and like exchange ideas about how to deal with the weather.
Yeah, I agree.
It's incredible. Like this thing, it worked so well on the West Coast, and now it's just like
Nothing works at all.
apart.
Yeah. Have you tried screen printing anything yet? Like doing a lithographic cover, screen printing, and then so you can make multiple of them?
Swimming what?
Screen printing.
We screen printing this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's how you do that.
So you can also do pen or desktop printer. So the idea is that you can make wearable with
I like it.
ease.
Have you also looked into like inkjet printing directly onto the skin?
Directly on skin?
Yeah. So
No, we have not done that, mainly because we haven't found inkjet printable ink that is good enough to be used on skin like that.
well, the thought is, have you seen the projects where they have the handheld inkjet printers?
No, I have not seen that project.
Okay. Well, so basically they gut a desktop inkjet printer. They take the module, they take an Arduino, and all it is it's a thermal element that heats up, and it jets out the ink as it heats up, expands, and shoots that ink. So the idea is that you have a module that can actually wrap around your arm. You can pre-spray your arm with like a gelatin adhesive, and then print directly on top of that, and you can get custom tattoos instantaneously that fit your arm.
That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, so I need to do that someday. But the nice thing about this, what you're doing, is that if you can actually take this and put it into a wrap, you can basically do the kind of like transfer paper, you print the whole thing onto that, and then wrap your arm with it, which is probably what you're doing currently. And it'd be kind of a neat process. So
That sounds like something I want to try. Absolutely, thank you for that.
Well, cool. Well, keep it up. It's good. Hey. Hey, what are you doing? What's this?
So this is a knitting machine.
Yep.
It's from the late 1980s. what I do is I make knitted photography.
Oh, cool.
So people email me a photo of their pet, and then I knit it and ship it back to them. I do custom orders, and it's all made on this machine.
I like it. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's a current project right now called, what is it called? It's an open knitting project. People are rebuilding these as like kind of like a open 3D printers.
Oh, I've seen, yeah.
It's like right out of the gate, just been started off. They've got giant printers, giant beds.
I saw that they just released instructions to make a round sock machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that online.
Yeah.
I don't know, Instructables.
There's a couple different versions like that, but the whole idea of like printable, because I mean you printed this essentially.
Yeah.
You printed cloth with yarn, and the neat thing is you can use smaller and smaller gauge yarn. So there's no reason why you can't print T-shirts with a machine like this.
So this one is considered standard gauge.
Yeah.
And so the needles are 4.5 millimeters apart.
Yep.
And they're very, very tiny needles.
Yep. So we need tinier needles.
You would need tinier needles. There is one called a fine gauge, and that one is like 3.5 millimeters apart. But as far as I know, see, this is a whole like hobby knitter, you know. To get any more fine than that, you're looking at industrial version.
So what you're telling me is
yes,
I need
it is possible, but yeah, you need a large space to have a giant machine. And
well, I mean, how many people need a home custom knitting machine in their garage?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe I do, but
it was a very big hobby back in the 80s, and that's when a lot of these machines were produced, and people did make it at home. But now with the cost of yarn, you know, you could just go to JCPenney and buy a sweater for $20.
Sure.
You know.
But can you get a sweater for $20 with your pet on it?
What I would say about the T-shirt version, at that point, what people are doing is instead of using 2 colors of yarn or 2 colors of thread, what they're doing is they're just making the plain fabric and they're dyeing the fabric.
Oh, I see.
So when you start to get into a gauge that is that fine, what people start doing is they dye the fabric.
Yeah. Although you can always get custom tailored clothing like this as well. I think custom tailoring and 3D printing is where it really comes in at. So hold on. We got man in booth. How's it going?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing good.
Bearing gifts from Charlotte Hackerspace.
Oh, cool. Very nice. Oklahoma City. And tell me, is this lead free? Well, no, is it lead free?
Oh, lead free, yes.
Really?
Lead free solid.
Awesome. I love lead free. I wish they'd make more of it, but it's like almost a little bit too expensive for everything else.
Yeah.
So cool. So this is Home Space is an art space / hacker space or maker space. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically doing I'm making neat things. So this is the neat thing. This is actually, I need to get this on pedestal so it actually does this without me turning it. But this is basically all carbon. What I've done is I've used a blender and Dawn soap. Dawn soap bonds to the graphite, pulls it apart with the blender with shear forces and creates like sheets of graphene or graphene-like substances. And I've got high voltage arcs going through mineral oil, breaking apart the mineral oil and making long carbon conductive chains. And I take that and I mix them all together, shake them up a little bit, wait a week.
Basically, you're making nanotubes.
Very bad nanotubes. Like not very useful nanotubes. And then I put them in this jar, shake them up a bit, and I get these really interesting, like large-scale microstructures. And I mean, when this thing all settles out, I basically get like carbon tumbleweeds, like jumping around the bottom of this, and it looks cool. And I want to basically explore the properties of this stuff. It took me a while to get this far, and I'm basically really interested in like self-forming structures and like really easy to do self-forming structures. So that's the idea for all this.
Can I get a sample of carbon?
No.
Well, I mean, it's it's just black. I mean, I think I got some rubbed on me. Would you like some rubbed on me?
Shake his hand.
There you go. You got some samples of carbon right on there. You probably have at least 500 nanotubes right on your hand right now. You don't even know it. You can't even see them. They're that small. That's the part of the problem with it.
Potato chips or the banana chips?
Potato chips with banana chips. We can actually see inside here. Like, it's actually kind of interesting. It perfectly coats the inside of it. I'll never get this off. And inside it's like this like primordial goop. So
It smells bad, actually.
I know it's actually part of the cleanest process I've got. It's all TSA flyable. Cause that's how I got it all here. And yeah. Yep.
Well, enjoy.
Thank you.
Sulfuric acid on spider.
No, none of that. Hey.
Check it out. What are they doing?
Hey, so this is an art/science project. Almost based as an art-science collaborative. So what this is it's a display case that kind of shows all what's going on. So there's two different processes in play here. One, I've got Dawn soap mixed in with graphite. The Dawn soap binds to the graphite, put it in the blender. It acts like a parachute, and it pulls apart the graphite into graphene sheets, very small graphene sheets. That's what's inside here currently. It's kind of a mess. And I've got another process that uses high voltage, creates an arc, breaks down the mineral oil, and makes long carbonaceous chains. And what you do is you mix those two together, put them in a bottle, let it shake it up, let it sit for a week, and you get these really interesting large-scale macrostructures that form. As the sedimentation comes down, it's a lot easier to see, and actually you get like little tumbleweeds in the bottom of this. But this has gone through way too much shaking. And they're very delicate, but they will reform. So that's what I'm kind of exploring right now is the implications of this and what I can get with these and what are they actually useful for. And I need to start, and what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to use this for kind of like an organic way of like making